what if I told you that Diddy and his team were planning to use what is going on in Iran as a part of their closing argument? So good morning, welcome to Morning Coffee. Now, what if I told you that Diddy and his team were planning to use what is going on in Iran as a part of their closing argument? I would love for y'all to tell me in the comments what y'all think about that. Okay, I would love for y'all to share your thoughts. So the closing argument is going to indicate that because Homeland Security is the division of the government that is investigating Diddy for these allegations, that they should be focused on the ongoing tension that is going on in the United States, specifically because there are sleeper cells. So for those of you who do not know, there are sleeper cells. There are allegations of sleeper cells being in America. So sleeper cells, the long and the short is that there are people from Iran or Iran, whichever way it's pronounced, that are in the United States who are patiently waiting for the folks to attack the U.S. So they're planted in America. They are from Iran, and they are somewhere in the United States waiting to attack. And so because they are in the United States, allegedly, Diddy's team is saying that it is the Homeland Security's job to be focused on that and not Diddy's bedroom. And I just think that that's crazy. That to me we don't have nothing else to bring to the table. That coupled with the fact that they plan to bring zero people to the stand, whatchamacallit. They don't have any people who are testifying. They have 0 people who are testifying, 0 witnesses. So they're planning to rest their case. So what's going to happen is the prosecution team, which is the government, is going to bring up one more witness. After that one more witness, they are planning to rest their case. It is being said that the defense team is not planning to bring any witnesses to the stand. They plan to admit some more evidence for the jury to look at, and then they plan to rest their case. And the rationale behind that is that they want to show that the prosecution team in no way proved their case. So their argument is that the prosecution didn't prove anything at all based on the charges that are being brought up against Diddy. Now, I don't know whether it's good or not. I do think that there are many things in this case to me that have proven racketeering, sex trafficking, so on and so forth. But I do think also that, I know that the defense team is trying to say that this is just a freaky frog. Diddy is just a freaky frog, and I think that he should be allowed to be a freaky frog and that nothing he did was illegal. Now, they're also going to, from what I understand and what I've heard, they're also going to try to push the narrative that the sex workers, or the escorts is what they're calling them now, they are trying to say that the escorts were not paid for sex. So you have to remember that in the Mann Act, the requirement is bringing people across state lines for the purposes of prostitution and sex. Now, what the defense team and Diddy's team is saying is that they did not pay the escorts for sex. They paid them for their time and their discretion. Right. So what it's giving to me is guilty. But we also know that this is up to a jury, right? We haven't been in the court with the jury. We haven't seen everything the jury has seen. I think there's something to be said about the fact that they watched the freak-off tapes. There's a reason that they were shown the freak-offs, right? So we don't know what happened in the freak-offs that may lead, and I think that there's some room in there to say that it was consensual, right? Because a part of this is that they want to prove that it wasn't consensual for Cassie and Jane Doe. So they watched it, and I'm sure on video, it seems from what Cassie and Jane Doe testified, I'm sure that it would very much look consensual, but we have to remember the force or coercion. It has to be the force or coercion. If the force or coercion exists within that, then it's not consensual, right? Like, though it may seem like it was on videotape, and think about it, there are many instances where people who are not interested in participating in an act of sex are on video and are forced to seem like they're enjoying it, right? So the force or coercion goes into play, but the defense team is going to make it seem like they weren't forced or coerced. And I think that they're going to bring up more text messages and probably video proof of them talking about enjoying freak-offs. But I think the prosecution team has done a really good job. All that to say, Diddy Trial seems to be coming to an end very soon. Very soon. They're thinking that the jury will probably have the case by Thursday. And if the jury has the case by Thursday, that we can get a decision as early as next week. So I'm still interested to hear what y'all are thinking. Let me know if y'all think it's giving guilty as charged or if it's giving not guilty. I personally think it's giving guilty on some charges, but I do think it won't be like as much time as like R. Kelly got 30 years in prison. I don't think he's getting 30 years in prison. I also think that he will get off on some of the charges. I do. So we'll see. But people have been saying that the extent to which he violated the Mann Act will not get him significant amount of time in jail. So people who are attorneys who have been following the trial that I've been following have been saying that even though it's clear he violated the Mann Act, the extent to which he violated it because it was for his own personal use and for his own personal sex, they're saying that they think that it'll just be time served. So if they get him on the Mann Act, it'll just be a time served sentence versus like adding time to his sentence. So that's what people have been saying. But I do think he'll do some time. I don't think it'll be much time, honestly. And we'll see. We will see. So that's the update on the Diddy trial. Now, since we already were talking about Iran, let's just get into what happened with Trump yesterday and this peace treaty or whatever that was signed, that he said a ceasefire that was signed. It's weird to me that he would sign, that he said that there was a ceasefire that was agreed to between Iran and Israel, but there were still bombs and missiles being dropped. It's giving liar. And that's just what it is. I'm going to call a spade a spade. It's giving liar. It's giving liar. It's very much giving lie. Now, what I will say is that the Post reported this morning that the two, that Iran and Israel did come to a shaky ceasefire, but last night, the Iranian government said that they were not in any agreement to a ceasefire, and if they were attacked, that they would continue to respond. And there were subsequently bombs dropped, right? And so I don't necessarily think that was true. The other thing is that Trump is talking about a ceasefire between the two, but you've gone and attacked Iran. Like, I don't understand the purpose of that, and I don't understand why they couldn't just agree to the ceasefire without you dropping bombs over there and putting us at risk. But he's saying that there's a ceasefire in place. The the Post this morning is saying that there was a shaky ceasefire that is in existence between the two. But I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again today. One of my biggest issues with this whole thing is that I live in New York, and anytime it's any sort of political smoke, okay, one of the first places they come to is New York. And I personally don't want to be subject to nothing that I didn't agree to and I ain't got nothing to do with. And that's the type of stuff that Trump be on. So for me personally, all I'm saying is keep us out of it. Keep us out of it. Let us mind our business because we don't want no smoke. We didn't vote for him. We are not, and we're a blue state. We just want to mind our business over here. So I truly hope that they leave us alone, but I don't like what is happening, and I don't like how messy Donald Trump is being because it puts American people at risk, and it doesn't put the people at risk that voted for him. And that's the problem. That's it. That's all.